Okay, again, welcome everyone. And 6 lines from the bottom of Daf Kuf Yud Aleph and the Beis. And I want to apologize to everybody that last night's shir is not up yet anywhere because I just didn't have the time. When I got back, it was very late and I had to pack, and then today we traveled. So in Yitz Hashem, tonight we will upload Kuf Yud Aleph and Kuf Yud Beis. So Amamar, we learned Eina Gzeila Kayemes, if the theft that Chatzkel stole from Abi, and then he died, and it was inherited by the children, if it's not intact, Peturin, they don't have to pay. Now the Gemara at this point thinks that it's before Yish. So Neimet Tavik Yufta Rav Chisda, who says that before Yish the children would have to pay. Malach Rav Chisda, so Rav Chisda says no. Kitan Yahi La'achar Yish, that's talking about after Abi was Miyayish. Amamar, Gezeila Kayemes, if the theft was intact, now it's Chatzkel stole from Abi, and he died, and the theft is intact, Chayovin l'shalim, they have to pay. Now, the fact that they have to pay, it was the opinion of Rami Bar Chama that Rishus Yairish Kirishus Loikeach Dami, that the Rishus of the Yairish, when Chatzkel's children inherit it, it's like Rishus Loikeach. And if it's Rishus Yairish Kirishus Loikeach, so then the children, then there should be Yish V'Shina Rishus, and with Yish and Shina Rishus, the children shouldn't have to pay. Amalach Rami Bar Chama, so Rami Bar Chama will tell you again, Ki Tanyahi, when was that taught? Lifnei Yish, where Abi wasn't Miyayish yet, and therefore Abi wasn't Miyayish, then there's no Yish V'Shina Rishus, and that's why the children have to pay. Rav Anda Bar Ava Masnei Lahod Rami Bar Chama Aha. Rav Anda Bar Chama taught that din of Rami Bar Chama, that Yerusha is like somebody buying it. Just like when somebody buys it, so there's Yish and Shina Rishus, the Lekeach acquires it. So also, when there's Yish and the thief dies and the children inherit it, that's also considered Yish and Shina Rishus. Now this din of Rami Bar Chama is inferred from the following. Rav Anda Bar Ava Masnei Rami Bar Chama Aha. Aha Desanya, what we learned in a Brisa. Haniach Lahem Avian Moi Shel Ribis. Chatzkel, he took money with interest, and Chatzkel left the children the ill-gotten gains of the ribis. Afal pi sheyoidin shein shel ribis, even though they know that it's ribis, ein chayavan la'achzer. We're going to need to ask people to make sure that they're muted. Who's not muted over here? Looks like everybody is muted. Okay. Ein chayovin la'achzer. The children don't have to return. The Chatzkel took ribis from poor Abi, and he died, and he left the ribis to the children. Even though they know the money is of ribis, they don't have to return it. Amir Rami Bar Chama, so Zoisai Meris, this shows Rishus Yairish Kirishus Lekeach Dami, that when it passes over to the Yairish, it's considered Shina Rishus, like it's given over to the buyer. Now, I assume that this means that it's saying that Abi was already Miyayish of getting back the interest. Yeah, that means that Abi is not expecting, that's the way the Mefarshim learn, that Abi is not expecting to get back the interest. So Rava has a twist. Rava Amar, really, the Rishus of a Yairish is not like selling it to another person. You know, a Yairish, the son is an extension of his father. Vishani Hacha, but it's different over here. The Amar Kra, the pasuk says by Ribbis, Al tikach me'itoy neshech v'tarbis, don't take from Abi any time of interest, and the pasuk adds v'chay ochicha imach. It says v'yareisa me'alekecha, that you should fear God, and that v'chay ochicha imach, that your brother should live with you. So, and we darshan ahaderle, you should return it ki heichi denechi ba'adach, in order that your brother should be able to live with you. The hakpada is on your brother. Abi should be able to live with you, not on the children. The Torah is being makbid on Chatzkel, who took the interest. Lebrei, to the son, loy ma'azalei rachmana. So it has nothing to do with the fact that you're Rishus Yairish, Rishus Loikeach Dami. It's a special din in Ribbis. Now, Manda Masmo Abraisa, the one who teaches this, that we're saying, let's just see if I got the right Girsa. The one that teaches Rami Bar Chama on the Braisa, Kol Shechein Amas Nisan. It would also it would surely apply to the case of theft, where we said, Rava said that Rami Bar Chama does not necessarily in yesterday's daf. Rava says that it's not necessarily so that Rishus Yairish Kirishus Lokeach, but it's talking only about where after the Yoshim got it, they ate it. So once they ate it, that's complete Shinui. It's Yish and Shinui Maisa because they ate it. So if we say that Manda Masnula Abraisa, the one who says that Rami Bar Chama says Rishus Yairish Kirishus Lokeach Dami by theft, and that when it passes to the children, even if it's intact, they don't have to return it because of Rishus Yairish Kirishus Lokeach, then the one who teaches it on the Braisa, Kol Shechein Amas Nisan, will surely teach that Rishus Yairish Kirishus Lokeach by theft. But Mandi Masnala Amas Nisan, the one who says it by the Mishnah, Avala Braisa, but if it was the Braisa, then it's possible that Rami Bar Chama is not saying that Rishus Yairish Kirishus Lokeach Dami, and that's the reason why the children don't have to return the interest to Abi. It could be because of the special din in Ribbis that we learn out from Bachaya Chicha Imach. Karava Masna, it could be that it's only a din in Ribbis, that the reason why Abi's children don't have to return, Chatzkel's children don't have to return the Ribbis to Abi is because of the fact that the din of V'chaya Chicha Imach is only between the one who took the Ribbis and the one who he took it from, and not with his children. Tan Rabbana. Hagoyzel u'machel es banav. If a person steals and takes the theft and feeds his children, Paturim Milisham, they don't have to pay, right? Because we'll assume it's talking about where there was Yish and they ate it, they don't have to pay. Haniach Lifnehem, if he left it intact by the children, so Gedolim, if they're adults, Chayavim L'Shalom. Ketanim, if they're minors, Peturim l'shalim. Now, v'im amru gedolim, if the adults say, look, ein anu yodim cheshbonus shechoshev avinu imach, we don't know the cheshbonus that our father made with you. Maybe what happens is Chatzkel's children tell Abi, we don't know, maybe our father settled with you, and our father paid you and refunded you before he died. P'turin. Then they're potter. So the Gemara doesn't sit well with them. Just because the children say, we don't know if, in other words, they don't even have a claim, Mishum da Amre, because they say, Ein anu yodim, we don't know if our father, the thief, refunded before he died, they should be Peturin. Amar Rava, so Rava says, no. Hachi Kamer. Gedolim she'amru, if the adult children say, Yoidim anu cheshbonus shechoshev avinu imach, we know that our father took care of it, we know our father made it good, v'loi paslach kabei v'loi midei, and nothing of yours is left by him. He did the honest thing and he made amends. P'turin, then the children are exempt. In other words, even though they don't have any proof, but if the children say that we know certainly that our father straightened it out before he died, then they don't have to pay. Tanya Idach, we learned in another brisa, Hagoyzel u'machel banav, a person steals and he feeds his children, P'turin l'shalim. Haniach lifneihem, he left it by them, v'achlam, and they ate it. Bein gedolim, bein ketanim chayavim. Now here we're going to have to learn, it's talking about before Yish. Right? So if it's before Yish, so, right, because if it's after the Yish, if the father was Miyayish, and, excuse me, if Abi was Miyayish, and the children ate it, so you have Yish and Shinoi Maisa, then for sure they don't have to pay. So it'll have to be talking about where Abi wasn't Miyayish yet. Right? Again, as we welcome in for our 31st Zerma of the evening, and we have a lot of people watching. We have Yossi Tai watching, Sheila Wine watching, Adam Chill watching, Schechter, and Mo Kushner has just joined us. Mo, I'm pretty near you, right here in Deerfield, in Berkshire B.
I'm with Mr. K, the rabbi's building. Looking forward to seeing you.
Very nice. I'm also looking forward to seeing you. Anyway, so this will have to be talking about where Abi was not Miyayish yet. It has to be that way. The problem is, and the Rishonim talk about it, the problem is that earlier we were talking about it was after Yish, but anyway, the Gemara will straighten this out. So Tanya Yidach HaGoizel, if Chatzkel steals Umachel Banav, and he feeds it to his children, Turim Shalim. Haniach Lifneim, if he left it to them, Ba'achlam, and they consumed it, Bein Gedolim, Bein Ketanim, whether they're adults, whether they're minors, Chayavim. So the Gemara says, first of all, how could you be Mechayiv minors? Even if the minors do damage, they're not going to be Chayiv. Ketanim mi Mechayiv? Lo Yehei Ela the Azak Azuke. It shouldn't be any more than if they do damage, and even if they do damage, they're not Chayiv to pay. Amra Papa Hachi Kamer. Haniach Lifneim, we're going to switch the story. Haniach Lifneim V'adayim Lo Yachlam. If he left it by them, and they didn't eat it yet, so Bein Gedolim, Bein Ketanim Chayavim. Whether they're minors, whether they're Ketanim, they have to pay. Now, here, either it's talking about where it's before Yish, or it's talking about after Yish, but we hold Rishus Yoirish Lav Kirishus Loikeach Dami. So it's not considered Shina Rishus, and therefore, if it's still Kayim, then they have to return it. Now we're going to see that there's a machloikis between Sumchus and the Rabbanan on whether you could sue Ketanim for it. This Brisa holds, not like Sumchus, that you could sue the Ketanim for it. Amar Rava, Haniach lem aviem, if Chatzkel stole from Abi and left Para She'ula, not stole. What happened is their father Chatzkel borrowed from Abi a cow. Now he borrowed it for 6 months. So Haniach lahem aviem Para She'ula, Mishtamshim ba kol yemei sheilasa, they could use it for the entire 6 months. Mesa, but if it dies, even though normally a shayel is chayav b'einsim, but since they didn't borrow it, it was just a carryover from the father, ein chayovim b'einseh. They don't have to pay if there was an accident. So they get the best of both worlds. They could use it for the remainder of the term of the lending, but they don't have to pay if there was an accident. Kisvurim shel aviyim hi, if they thought it was their father's, they didn't know it was borrowed. They thought it was their father's. The father died suddenly. They thought it was his cow. B'tafchu of achlua, and they slaughtered it and they ate it. So they have to make the most lenient restitution. Mishalmim dmei basar bezul. They pay the value of meat bought cheaply on the market, which is 2/3 the market price. But if their father left them karka, if they left real estate, so therefore Abi can take, he had a lien for the cow, so if he left real estate, then chayavim l'sham. Then from that real estate, they have to pay the full amount of the cow. Now, this proviso of haniach lehem aviyim akrayis nechasim chayavim l'shalem, what part of the statement this goes on is ikedamasnila aresha. Some say this proviso, if the father left real estate on the first part, v'ikedamasnila aseifa, and some teach it on the second part. In other words, the first part is Mesa ein chayavim b'intzeh. So, but if the father left real estate that there was a lien on the real estate for the borrowed cow, so then Abi can collect if there was an inus. So iked masla reisha, iked masla seifa. Manda masla reisha that you could collect for an inus. Kol shechein haseifa, you could surely collect where they went ahead and they slaughtered the animal and ate it. Or pliga de rapapa, and argues on rapapa. Mandi masnala seifa, the one who teaches it on the seifa, aval reisha loy, but not on the reisha. V'hainu de rapapa. You see, there is a question that whether when somebody borrows something, does he have liability automatically at the time of the borrowing, or is it only when something happens? So if there's liability at the time of the borrowing, so since while Chatzkel was alive, it's considered like he was liable for Einsin, so now, even though it happened after he died, if he left real estate, Abi could collect from the real estate. But if it's not considered like he's liable until something happens, then something happened only after he died. So then there was no lien on the real estate. And then even if he left real estate, even if Chatzka left real estate, Abi wouldn't be able to collect for the cow that died. So the Gemara says, the Amar Papa, Hoisapara Genuvalai, if let's say, Marshall, we can't leave Marshall out of this Gemara entirely, Hoisapara Genuvalai, if let's say Marshall already stole a cow, Utzvacha b'Shabbos, and he slaughtered it on Shabbos. Now, first of all, you have to know, Kam Leibin Rambinei, that when you forfeit your life, you don't pay money. That's only by money, not by a knas. So, Marshall was already chayiv for the principal and kefil when he stole the cow before Shabbos. Now when he slaughtered it on Shabbos, even though he forfeits his life by slaughtering it on Shabbos, but he doesn't get exempt from paying the knas because there's no kamlei ben rabinei on the knas chayiv. Shekvar chayiv ben geneva, because for the principal, which is money, he was chayiv kodim shi'av l'dei yitzur Shabbos, before he desecrated the Shabbos. Hoysa parish she'ulalai, if he borrowed a cow, utvacha b'Shabbos, and he slaughtered it on Shabbos, potter. Why? Because over there, the mammon, for paying back the cow, he's not chayiv, the principal, until he slaughtered it on Shabbos. And therefore, even the money part only becomes liable when he slaughters it, and you can't be chayiv the money when you forfeit your life, because the kam le'mer nomination is a Shabbos v'isur geneva ba'in ke'echad. So you see that Rav Papa is of the opinion that he's not considered liable already for the principal at the time when he borrowed it, because if he was already liable for the principal at the time that he borrowed it, so then the chiyuv for the principal already came before Shabbos. And therefore, then it would only be the knas, the kefil, and the dal v'hei, and on that there is no kam le'v'nei minei. Kon Rabbana, v'heishiv es ha'gzeila asher gazal, you should return the theft which you stole. Ma talmud loimer asher gazal. Of course, it says you should return the theft. Obviously, you stole it. So why does it say asher gazal? It's only coming to tell you, Yazer ke'ein shegazel. The only time you have to return it is if it's the way you stole it. So therefore, Mekan hagoizel u'machal es banav, if one steals it and feeds it to his children, so then then it's not asher gazel, it's not anymore the way it was when it was stolen, and they're not the ones that stole it. Peturim l'shlam. Hiniach lifneim, if it's intact, ben gedolim ben ketanim, whether they're adults, whether they're minors, chayovim. Now here we'll learn that either it's talking about before Yerush, or it's talking about because we hold Rishus Yerush Lavki Rishus Lekeach. So whether they're adults, whether they're minors, they have to pay. Mishum Sumchas Amru, Gedolim Chayamim, adults have to pay, Ketanim Peturim. Minors, you can't sue a minor, and therefore the minor is potter. So now the Gemara tells us a case of a minor. Shashi? Did you check for my Mishnayos? Yes, perfect. Thank you. Now, Bar Chamua de Reb Yirmiyah, the son of the father-in-law of Reb Yirmiyah, and he was a minor. What happened is Reb Yirmiyah wanted this boy's house, because Rabbi Yirmiyah claimed that he bought it from the father. So Bar Chamud, Rabbi Yirmiyah, the son of the father-in-law of Rabbi Yirmiyah, Torah Gale Ba'ape de Rabbi Yirmiyah. When Rabbi Yirmiyah came to try to take possession of the house, he shut the door in the face of Rabbi Yirmiyah. So Rabbi Yirmiyah went for recourse to Rabbi Avo, to Rabbi Avin. Also the Kami de Rabbi Avin. Amar, so he said, look, Shalayu Teveya. Rabbi Avin said he has the right. He's saying that it was his father's house. It was in the chazak of his father's house. So he's saying that he has the right to say, if you want to take it, you're going to have to, prove it. So he said, "Ma'isina sadeh the agziki bei b'chayedavua." So Rabbi Yirmiyah said, but I could bring witnesses that I possessed the house during the lifetime of the father. I could bring witnesses that even when the father was alive, I possessed the house. Amalei, he said to him, but wait a second, you want to bring witnesses, and the child is the defendant. Can we accept witnesses not in the presence of the defendant? And in this case, the defendant is like he's not here because he's a minor. It's like Rashi says, he's like he's not here. Says the Gemara, but we learned, but Sumcha says that you could even sue a minor. If the father left the gezela by the child, you could sue a minor. So you see that you could litigate in front of a minor. Amalei, that was the opinion of Rabbanan. Rabbanan said that you could sue a minor. So Amalei, so he said, yeah, but Hari Machloikis Sumchas Betzidach. But Rav Avin said to him, that a minor you can't sue. So Reb Yirmiyah said, if I have the Chacham on my side, I have to be worried about the opinion of Sumchas. Amar Ichbel Kule Alma, is everybody doubling over V'koikas Sumchas and doing like Sumchas Lafkun L'didi to take away what's mine? I mean, I have witnesses that I was in the house, and because Sumchas says you can't, the Chacham say you could sue a minor. So Ilgalgo Milsa, this matter rolled around, this question, and also Mata L'Kami de Rabbi Avo. And the case came before Rabbi Avo. So he said, Lo Yishmiya L'chu Had Rabbi Yosef Bar Chama Am Rabbi Yaishia. Did you not hear of the psak of Rabbi Yosef Bar Chama in the name of Rabbi Yaishia? The Amar Rabbi Yosef Bar Chama Am Rabbi Yaishia, Tinik Shetokaf Ba'avodav, a child that grabbed hold of his servants, V'yored L'seich Stei Shel Chaveira, and went down to somebody's field, V'amar Shalihu, and makes a claim, it's mine. Ein Oimrim, we don't say Namtin Ad Shetagda, we don't say Ad Sheyagda, we don't say that we have to wait until he grows up. Elamoitzir Miyadei Miyad, we take him out of there immediately, and Ulekishi Yigadel, and when he grows up, Yavayedim, let him bring witnesses, Venira Midam, Venira, and we'll see who's right. So you see that you could sue a child, and you could kick a child out of the land. Says the Gemara, that's different. There, that child just walked into somebody's field without any presumptive status. Here, the child was in his father's property. Me dummy. There we chased the child with his servants out to like he's not being in there with a claim of the presumptive status of the father. But if he had a presumptive status of the father, we can't kick him out. Rav Ashi, Rav Shepsai. Rav Ashi says in the name Rav Shepsai, Mikablim Eidim Shaloi B'fnei Baldin. We could accept witnesses not in the presence of the defendant. So the Gemara says, Toiba Rabbi Yechon is shocked. V'chi mekablen edim shalei b'fnei baldin. How can you do that? We know that if you want to be able to take something away from someone and you want to bring witnesses, you have to bring it in the presence of the defendant. So it says it's special circumstances. Kibla minei Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina kigayin shahaya hu chayla. It's talking about either that the one that's making the claim was sick. Now, the one that's making the claim, he wants to make sure that he gets in the claim because his Yoshim don't know everything about the case. So either the one who's making the claim is sick, or the witnesses are sick, so you want to get them to testify before they die, or the witnesses want to go overseas to Australia. So if you don't get it now, you're going to lose the whole case. And Visholchalai, they sent to the defendant, and he didn't come. Only in such a case, in such a limited case, can you do it not in the presence of the defendant. I'm Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel, Mikabel Meidim Shaloi B'fnei Baldin. Again, Rabbi Yehuda says the name of Shmuel, this halacha, that you could accept testimony not in the presence of the defendant. Amar Mar Ukva, so again, Mar Ukva said, L'didi mifresh l'meid Shmuel, what's it talking about? It's talking about Kigain de Paschulei Bedine, where they already started the court case. V'sholchalei, and they sent to him, V'loyasa, and he didn't come. So if they sent him and he didn't come, so then you could accept it not in his presence. Avaloi Paschulei Bedina, but if they didn't open the case, then he could say, listen, I don't want to come to this two-bit court. I want to go to the Beis Din HaGadol. Matzi Amalei, I know the Beis Din HaGadol Azilna. So the Gemara says, Yachi, if so, keep Paschulei Nami, Matzi Amalei. Why can't he say, even if they opened up the case, why can't he say, Le Beis Din HaGadol Azilna, I want to go to the Supreme Court? Amar Ravina, so Ravina says, no, it's talking about where Kigain did noka diska me Beis Din HaGadol. It's talking about where the litigant holds a decision of the court that the Supreme Court, that the Sanhedrin said this can be tried in the local court, and the defendant doesn't show up, so then they could accept it even without the defendant being there. Amarav, now we move on to another thing. You know that there's a halacha, and you know I should check while I'm talking. The whole time the internet was good?
Baruch Hashem, we hear it. Let me see. Baruch Hashem.
Okay, because this is, you know, I made...
No problem at all.
Okay, I made a very big attempt. I felt so terrible last night about what happened. I'm paying for having internet here and everything, so... I got so flustered that I started so late that I was very rude and I didn't even welcome anybody, which is, very rude. I'm not talking about you, Marshall. So I see that Michal Avram is diligently there in the shul, and I see Ruvain Shanet. Is Gedalia there? No? And I see Michael and Saba and Abi and Ben Zion and Aaron Swade and Mel Zachter and Shimon Klein and Eddie Chazan and Berish Kesselman and Dr. Black and Ruvain Pollack and Shalom Fogel. Shalom, were you not feeling well this week? I have very sharp eyes, and before your box shut off, I saw that you were listening one night lying down. So I want you to know, I had you in mind that you should feel better. Marshall Castle, Irving Fishbaum, Stephen Holtzman, Ellie Zeitlin in the car, Dr. Guy, Jay Siegel, Mo Kushner, Yitz Fuchs, Nachman Chapler, Moshe Lehman, Abe Arbach, Yitzi Muller, Avram Rezepkowitz, Yitzi Padower, Pesach Siegelman. What a wonderful crowd. David Helfgott, I hope he's listening somehow. We are. So now we know that even if you have a document with signatures, even if it has the signatures of such reputable people as Berish and Dr. Black, you cannot collect with that document unless you authenticate it. That means that Dr. Black and Berish come and testify that that was their signature, or that their signatures are already archived in the court, or two people testify that it's Dr. Black's signature, and two people testify it's Berish's signature. That's called authenticating a shtar, and then the Beis Din puts what's called an ashrata, an authentication on the shtar. So now the
like notarizing.
Like notarizing it. So the Gemara wonders, can you do this not in the presence of the defendant? So says the Gemara, let's see it inside. Amarav mikaymen es hashtar shaloi b'fnei baldin. You could authenticate the shtar not in the presence of the defendant. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, ein mikaymen es hashtar shaloi b'fnei baldin. You can't do such a thing. Amalei Rav Sheshes Rabbi Yossi Ba'avua. So Rav Sheshes says to Rabbi Yossi Ba'avua, as b'ruach taimid to Rabbi Yochanan, I'll tell you the reason Rabbi Yochanan that he holds that the defendant should be there. Amakra, the pasuk says, when Marshall's axe gored many times, v'huad b'balav, and we warn the owner, v'lo yishmerenu, and he doesn't guard it. Amritayra yava balashar, the owner of the shar has to be there, v'yamad al shayrai. And Rabbi Yochanan extends this also, that in order to authenticate a shtar that has a claim on someone, the one that the claim is upon has to be in court. Amarava, Hilchasa, the law is mikaymen es hashtar shaloi b'fnei baldin. You could authenticate a shtar even if the defendant is not there. Va'afilu oimed v'tzavach. Now here, Marshall owes money, and even if Marshall is standing and screaming, he's screaming, it's a forgery. V'i Amar, if Marshall says, Nikutu li zimna, give me time, ad maisina sade, until I bring witnesses, umarana leila shtar, and I'll show that it's a forgery, naktinan le, then we give him the time. He asa, if he brings witnesses, good. Ilay asa, if not, natrinan le beis hey beis. We wait for him another Monday, Thursday, and Monday. Ilay asa, if not, now Marshall hasn't paid. You know, poor Avi wants his money. Marshall hasn't paid. So kasvinon psiche ilvei, we write excommunication against Marshall for Tishin Yomin, 90 days. In other words, for 90 days, we still don't tell Avi, we don't write him a warrant that he could go collect from Marshall's property. No. We give him another 90 days. Tlosin kamoi, the first 30 days, we don't go to his property. The Amar Katarach Bezuze, Venezov, he's going to try to borrow money to pay Abi. The middle 30 days we don't go down into his property. The Amar Dilma Ashkech Lemezif, maybe he didn't find anybody to borrow from. The Katarach Mizban, and he's now trying to sell some of his property. Now, Basroi Nami Loi Nachsinan Lenichse, the last 30 days we don't go down to his property. The Amar Lekeach Gufe Katarach Bezuze, because we say Marshall found a sucker to buy it from him, right? Found a sucker to buy it from him. Jay smiling. Found Jay. He found Jay to smile and to buy it, and now Jay is trying to come up with the money. Lo yasa. If 90 days pass and he doesn't show up, now already we get down to business. Kasvina nadrachta nechse. The court gives a warrant to AB to collect from Marshall. But v'hani mili de amar asina. This is only, in other words, where do we give such leeway? V'hani mili de amar asina. That's only where Marshall says that he's coming to court. But if Marshall rubs his nose at us and he says he's not coming, then alter kasvina. We write a warrant right away. I mean, we don't mess around. Then we give a warrant to AB right away. Bahani mili b'milva. And this is only with a loan, because with a loan is given to be spent. So we could say he doesn't have the money and he's trying to procure the money. Aval pikadon, where AB gave him, a pikadon. He left him, a diamond, which Marshall had no right to touch. So then he should have it, and he has no excuse. So la'alta kasvina. Then we write a warrant right away. Says the Gemara, v'chi kasvinan, and when we issue the warrant, that's only a mekarkei. It's only, we issue a warrant to collect from Marshall's land. But we don't issue a warrant to collect from Marshall's movables. Because what we're worried about is that AB is going to take his movables, and then Marshall will bring proof that it's a forgery, and AB will have eaten the movables, and there would be no recourse for Marshall to get his money back. Maybe AB will eat up the metaltalin, and when Marshall brings his witnesses to show that it was a forgery, he won't have anything to collect from. However, if AB has real estate, so we don't have to worry about that. So if AB has real estate, then we'll write a warrant even against metaltalin. However, it's not so. We don't write a warrant against movables. Even though AB has real estate. Why? Because maybe he'll eat up the movables and his real estate will deteriorate. That the real estate might deteriorate. And when we write a warrant against Marshall, we send to him, we notify him that we're going to write a warrant against him. But v'hani mili demikriv, that's only if he's close by. Aval mirchak loy, but if he's far away, we don't wait to send him notification. We write the warrant. The mirchak, but if he's far, but the ikakravim, he has relatives that we could tell who will get him the news. He lives in a place with his caravans traveling back and forth, so we have means to get him the word. We wait another, it's unbelievable how much leeway we're giving Marshall over here. It's absolutely, I would say it's nauseous. I really would. But it's really nauseous. But we give him time to hear what he has to say. He waited for Ma'acha, who owed money, before writing the Adrachta, until it came back. However, there it's different. Because the reason why they waited over there is because they knew that they were dealing with a very big mafioso, with a very rough customer. V'lo yihasem inish alima hava. And and if a warrant would have came to his hand, he would have just ignored it. It wouldn't have benefited. So that's why they waited, because they wanted to handle it with kid gloves, because they knew the warrant was going to be ignored anyway. You see, even back at the time of the Gemara, there were situations, this is a very big problem nowadays, why we say Ashiva Shekteinu Kavarishayna. Even back in those days, there was time where the Bezdin didn't have teeth. We don't wait. Unless there's time for the Shliach Bezdin to get to Marshall, he can go on Tuesday, and be back on Wednesday, and they're ready. If he could get there on the third day, and an answer get back on the fourth day, and they could be in court on the fifth day, that's all we wait. Otherwise, we don't wait anymore. Now, I want to say again that these Gemaras are very intricate, and it's really nice to have everybody. It's really nice to be able to continue learning with you from Florida. Again, we've been having funny times. Next week is going to be regular at 8 the whole week. But Motzi Shabbos, because I'm giving a big share at 9 o'clock in Hollywood, Florida, and I want to get into share before. I'll have to go from one share to another share, but I want to get into share. So share Motzi Shabbos is going to be early at 7:30. 7:30 share on Motzi Shabbos, and now we're going to learn the Mishnah Yomis.